Hello there, it's Jason, and welcome to our first Christmas update. So, I'm going to update you today on what's going to happen over Christmas. Of course, it's really difficult to with just under 2 weeks to Christmas Day itself, it's really difficult to pin the detail down for that day. And in fact, most of the models are not running up until Christmas at this present moment. But I thought I'd put a little presentation together for you today, get you in the mood for Christmas. Actually, the latest GFS run, which does extend out until actually Boxing Day now, does show a little bit of wintry potential. I've always been going with the idea that we could have a little cold snap around the Christmas period. I couldn't be more specific than that at this moment, and I'm going to regularly update the Christmas updates now. This is just the first one, but I will bring you one around about the middle of next week where we should have a better idea, and we'll be able to bring a few more models on board just to see exactly what they're saying. So I'm going to try and do a little bit of screen saving just now, screen sharing, I should say. Hopefully this will work. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yay! So we're starting off with a little wintry landscape there and some reindeer. Let's all dream of a white Christmas. I'm going to take you on to the GFS run, and I'm going to begin this run, in fact, on the 21st of December. That is the winter solstice. And you can see there that we've got an area of low pressure that's come across from the west, and it's bringing a rather westerly flow in. So I would say that rain will pass eastward and be followed with showers. Bringing it on to Christmas Eve. This looks very interesting in Christmas Eve because the low pressure has moved into Scandinavia. And if you follow those isobars back, the white lines, well, essentially the air is originating from way up there in the polar Arctic regions. So way north of Scandinavia, coming down there, Greenland, Iceland, the northerly winds running right down into the English Channel. So something really has changed there. Christmas Eve has signals for cold weather. Notice that ridge of high pressure out to the west, and also some high pressure over Greenland. There's your Siberian high. So there's quite a lot of high pressure in the northern latitudes, just this rather big area of low pressure in the Norwegian Sea. But that is pulling down some pretty cold air. Shall we run it a little bit further forward? Here is Christmas Day itself. Again, we're in a northerly to a northwesterly flow. So just going back, is actually when I prepared this video just a couple of moments ago, the charts have all updated. Let's go back again to Monday. There we go. We're watching that low pressure move east. Another little feature comes in from the west on Tuesday. Look how that low pressure dives south on Wednesday, the 23rd, the eve of Christmas Eve, with the northerly winds on its back edge there, coming into western parts of Scotland. They were all in a northerly flow for Christmas Eve, and this Christmas Day, we're in a proper northerly flow. Sorry, that was Christmas Eve. There's Christmas Day there in a northerly flow, and it's going a little bit more westerly later on in the day. Okay, so what I always look at in terms of whether it will snow or not are the 500 millibar temperatures. So that's about the temperature a mile up in the atmosphere, at Monroe level, if you like. Now, a few little rules of thumb here for snow. If the temperature's above zero, no matter how cold it is on the ground, it's not going to snow. If it is very cold on the ground, but it's above zero a mile up, then we're more likely to incur frozen rain. We get that a lot in America, of course, although it can happen here in the UK too. So we're looking for the temperature way up there at 850 millibars to be certainly below zero. And when it goes below -5, there's a greater than 50% chance that snow may reach low-lying sea areas. So we're looking for the -5 isotherm to come through the country. Is it going to do it? We see there's low pressure, there's moisture, there's potential for snow. Will it be cold enough though? Here's the 21st, and you can see there the yellows to the south of England. It's the zero isotherm line. We're all below zero, and quite typically -2 or -3 in Scotland. They're on the solstice. So that could be snow in the hills for certain. Remains quite similar later on in the day into Tuesday. Notice the -5 isotherm there, it's there, the dashed line just coming in to the western side of Ireland. There's a little patch of it up there to the northwest as well on Tuesday. And that creeps ever closer to us later on Tuesday when these low pressures are barrowing in from off the Atlantic. So taking us into Wednesday now, slowly into Wednesday when it updates there. Let's go back. Fingers crossed. There we go. Here's Wednesday. So, or later in Tuesday even. You see the -5 isotherm getting into western Scotland at that point. So cold enough for snow by the end of Tuesday the 22nd in the western part of Scotland and also in Ireland. Notice the yellow colours there, that's a warm sector with a low pressure moving through the country on Tuesday. This should be Wednesday, the eve of Christmas Eve, and as you can see, the -5 isotherm has got right through the country. So that now the -5 isotherm is through Scotland, it's through Northern England, it's into Northern Wales, and it's through into Northern Ireland. As we run through Wednesday, you can see the cold pool of air really getting established. That's that big low that could bring a bit of a storm if this chart came off. There's your -5 isotherm there. Most of the country's sitting in -4. So that there could produce some snow on Wednesday on its northern and eastern flank as the low pressure comes into that colder air. It gets more exciting though. Look at that. For Christmas Eve, there's a -10 isotherm on the north of Scotland. Now, when the temperature gets to -10 at 850 HPA, then you could call it like a beast from the east. That's when we don't get above zero. So look how close that -10 isotherm is flirting with the north of Scotland. Most of Scotland are down at -9, -8, -7 for the very south of Scotland, -6 for Northern Ireland, -6 for northwest England. And in England, where it was just a little bit milder on the previous day, we're down to -3. That looks encouraging for snow on Christmas Eve. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine we pull off a white Christmas? Let me give you a wee starter too as well. I love my statistics. Now, a white Christmas is defined by one snowflake falling on any recorded weather station, official weather station in the UK, between the hours of Christmas Day. So anytime in that 24-hour period on the 25th of December. Now, usually 80% of Christmases are white, given the definition. It doesn't have to lie in the ground. It only has to fall from the sky. So normally on 80% of Christmases, the UK has a white Christmas somewhere. Actually, there's not been a white Christmas anywhere in the UK for 2 years, which is really, really unusual. I'm going to say it's quite hard to get snow, even if you think about the winters during the last decade. So going back 1718, with a little bit of cold weather in December, a few little patchy snow events in December, particularly down south actually, there was quite deep snow in December down south. And of course we had the beast from the east, the end of February, the beginning of March. So we probably had one severe cold month that winter. Going back 2012-13, December was a little bit wintry from time to time, but nothing out of the ordinary. It was March, February and March, with 2 severe months that winter. So going back a little bit further, the next cold winter was 2010. We had a brutally cold December, the December to remember, which was 1/10 of a degree short of the coldest month ever recorded, but we only had 2 cold months that winter. So what I'm saying to you is in the last decade in the UK, we've had 5 months that have been severely cold. In 10 years, we've only had 5 months that are cold. Snow is sadly becoming a bit of a thing of the past. And the global temperatures are rising at such a rate, I don't think we're going to have that many white Christmases to come. So fingers crossed, okay? Let me run this on a little bit further. I'm getting caught away with my excitement. Look at the -10 isotherm coming right into Scotland on Christmas Eve's evening. And you can see it there in the tops of the hills, and you can see it coming right into the top of Scotland. -9 widely across Scotland, -7s, -6. Winds in from the north, coming from the Arctic, That's a very, very promising chart. I don't know if it's going to come off, you know, it's a long way away, but that is very promising indeed. And on Christmas Day itself, you can see the -10 blob there just off the northeast of England, the east of Scotland, generally -9 degrees for Scotland. There's the -10. Even Shetland is down to -11, -9 all the way down to Wales, and -7 or 8 to the south of England. So in terms of the upper air temperatures, there's potential. Do you want me to show you the snowfall accumulation charts? Now, these are a wee bit hard to interpret, so I'll just talk you through these. Basically, if you see an area that's hatched, if it's got lines, then it's snowfall. So starting the 21st again, as you see, most of the precipitation is of the form of rain, and the darker the blue is, the heavier the rain. When it's a greeny colour, then the rain is a little bit lighter. But running you through the sequence here, you can see that the precipitation remains as rain there, and the 21st, running you into the 22nd, and it's still rather rainy, although there's large areas of the country quite dry. There's that storm coming into the southwest of Ireland. Look at that pushing off. Now, okay, we've got snow on the 22nd. Snow for the Midlands, snow for northern Wales. You can see that snow extending all the way up through into the Pennines. Very exciting. That's the low pressure coming in and engaging in that cold air. What's going to happen? Yeah, we've got snow all the way from southern Wales into the Midlands, the whole of northern England, west and east, into southern Scotland, all the way up to the central belt, so just shy of Edinburgh. We've got a little bit of snow there in Glasgow as well on Wednesday the 23rd. What's going to happen? Yeah, all that snow moves forward. Look at the snow event being predicted here later on Wednesday the 23rd of December, the eve of Christmas Eve. Practically the whole of Scotland has snow, and all that hatched area, all in here is all snow. How amazing. Let's run it forward. Christmas Eve, we've still got snow for Wales. We've got snow in the Midlands, northeast England, southeast Scotland, northeast Scotland at this point. Here's Christmas Eve, and we have quite a snow event going on. Amazing run from the GFS today. Snow more concentrated in southern England on Christmas Eve, according to this run, and into the Midlands, Wales once again, see those hatched areas. There's the Isle of Man running up the eastern side of Northern Ireland. You can see it's all hatched to the west of Scotland too. And you can see that hatched area, the east of Scotland, and the Grampians forecasting snow. Okay, here's the big day. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! So there's still snow on the charts here. Now, obviously, if it's been snowy from the 23rd and Christmas Eve, then it's going to have settled on the ground. But on Christmas Day itself, you can see the snow is more a coastal feature. You don't hear that very often. And you can see the snow from the north of Wales running up the northwest side, clipping the southeast of Northern Ireland. There's snow there coming in, just short of the southwest of Scotland, into western Scotland. You can see it draped around the north and the east of Scotland. Quite heavy snow there for the northeast of England, and running down into Yorkshire too, and even down into the southeast. Wow, what a run this has turned out to be. It's been a really, really good day to do the forecast. Okay, I'm going to show you something else. This is my final feature from today's video. And in here, I'm looking a little bit deeper into winter. So one of the biggest triggers to have a cold winter, and I'm not saying we're going to have a severely cold winter, you know, given that it's been one of the mildest years we've had globally, I doubt it's going to be severely cold, although I'm hoping personally for cold spells, especially around Christmas time. One of the precursors of a cold winter would be a sudden stratospheric warming event. The stratosphere is the very upper layer of the atmosphere, and just on occasion, and it does happen fairly regularly, it doesn't always pull off a freezing cold winter, but I've got to say that most cold winters have a stratospheric warming at some point. They generally happen in the middle of winter or in late winter, and what they can do is essentially build high pressure over the pole. Okay, so it warms the atmosphere up, and it's really dramatic because the temperature away up there in the stratosphere can rise by 60 degrees Celsius in a matter of 2 days. That is so dramatic that it just changes the entire atmosphere, sets up a bubble of high pressure, and this northern blocking then begins to move into the northern latitude. Sometimes it comes down into Europe, and we have a beast from the east. Sometimes it comes into Asia, and you're more likely to get Siberian high, which can occasionally influence our weather. Sometimes the block or the high pressure goes down into Canada, and if it does that, we tend to miss the severe weather. But I'm always looking towards a sudden stratospheric warming. So these charts here are from weathernet.net, a superb channel run by Dr. Simon Keelan. I subscribe to this channel, very reasonable. It's £14 a month, absolutely brilliant. Dr. Simon Keelan is fantastic. So I'm using one of his charts here, and this is depicting one of the top layers of the stratosphere. So we're right up at 10 HPA, which is just about as high as you can possibly go. And I'm going to run the sequence through for you. Okay, so here we have the current situation. So notice all those dark blue colours. Notice this is like the polar vortex. This is what drives low pressure areas in the winter, and it usually sits there right over the North Pole. Notice that it is displaced a little bit, and also notice that these reds and pink colours that are infiltrating the Siberian side of the Arctic just now. And notice as well a very major warming happening there, running into the Mediterranean and Spain. So let's run this sequence quickly on. It's my last little feature just to see what happens. Well, you can see that the Siberian warming is increasing. Here we have 14th of December. Look at the major stratospheric warming that's getting going south of Spain there. This is very, very, very interesting. We run it on. You can see that these warmings from the southwest are pushing up into Siberia there. That's the 18th of December. Quite a major warming now, look at that. We went from the pinks and the reds into the grey. So the temperatures went to above 30, minus 30 degrees, as opposed to being minus 80 degrees previously. Let's watch this warming. That's fantastic. The 20th, there's a solstice. That is a stratospheric warming, a major stratospheric warming. Whether it comes off, I don't know, but certainly it's showing us, it's giving us a heads up that this may actually happen. Now look how the polar vortex has been stretched. It's like an elastic band there. It's just been stretched with all those warm colours either side of the polar vortex, and the Siberian feature just pushes further in towards the pole. There's Boxing Day for you, and what will eventually happen is, if this is strong enough, it sits over the pole and it actually rips the polar vortex apart. And it would stop us getting a wet and windy weather this particular winter. I hope you've enjoyed your first Christmas update. Please share it with your friends. Please let everyone know about Jason's Weather Window. You find this on YouTube, and you'll also find it on Facebook. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great weekend, and a Merry Christmas when it comes. Thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. Bye for now.